So welcome along to this week's A Story to Tell with me, Richard Beauvoisin. Today, I interviewed Chloe Iles. She runs Chloe's Mobile Farm, taking animals round to care homes and also to different schools in a variety of different places and events as well. Hope you enjoy. So welcome along, and today on A Story to Tell, I've got Chloe Iles, who is based in North Wiltshire. She runs Chloe's Mobile Farm, so she takes animals around to a variety of different places, and we're going to talk to her all about that today here on Radio Bath. So Chloe, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm very well, thank you.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, good. It's all busy at the moment with all the animals all over the place.
So yeah, tell us about the business. What is the business? What's a mobile farm? I've never heard of one until I met you.
You're not the only one. So we take farm animals into care homes, schools, toddler groups. We do big public events. So we do sort of educational, we do birthday parties, anything really. Anywhere where there could be an animal involved, we'll be there. We've done hen parties and weddings and yeah.
The hen party must have been scary. Were you scared for your animals?
They were lovely, actually. We were a bit worried because you know what hen parties can be like. But no, this was a lovely group of ladies and they just sat and cuddled animals all afternoon.
Oh, I love the fact that I was looking on your website earlier on today, and I love the fact that normally when it says meet the team, you kind of think of all the different staff. And I thought, oh, who else works with Chloe then? And then I looked at it, and who's in your meet the team?
I think I've got Norman, we've got George, we've got donkeys and cows, and yeah. So I am Chloe, and I run nearly all of it for the last few years. However, I do now have an admin lady called Georgie, who is priceless. And then whenever we're out on farm visits, we take an assistant with us as well. So there's a few different faces that do come with me as well.
Amazing, but it's just you. So how did you get into liking animals so much then?
So I was really lucky. I grew up on a farm and just wanted to spend every minute of my life there. We had sheep as I was growing up, and then we moved into cows. And we also had some liveries on the farm, so people that kept their horses on our farm. So I would just help them as much as I possibly could. I was very lucky to then get my first pony at 11 years old. I was just obsessed.
Fair enough. It's having a pony is quite a responsibility at 11. Did you have to do everything?
I did. So my parents are not horsey at all. So I was very lucky that the liveries helped me. I started riding when I was 2, but it's very different riding compared to looking after a horse. My parents tried to put me off having a horse by getting me rabbits. And they said that if I could prove that I could look after rabbits, that I could then potentially have a horse. But I didn't want rabbits. I never wanted rabbits. Well, back then I didn't, and I didn't do a very good job of looking after them, so they became mum's rabbits.
Oh.
Yeah, but no, big responsibility. I think it kept me out of trouble when I was younger.
I have the pleasure. So those that see me doing horse riding find it one of the most hilarious things in the world. So I have the amazing ability to ride, certainly when you're going slightly quicker than just walking, of having the amazing ability of getting the timing completely the wrong way round. So when the horse is coming up, I am going down on top of it. And I'll be honest with you, that hurts quite a lot.
Not very comfortable, no.
Not so much. My 7-year-old daughter, she's doing quite a lot of horse riding herself at the moment. She just looks like a natural. She just glides along with the horse. And then there's pictures of me doing it, and it's not quite the same thing. It's definitely painful, definitely painful. So you grew up with animals then. So I won't ask how old you are, because that's always a rude question to ask a lady. I did hear a brilliant joke the other day. We were at a dance weekender, and there was somebody's birthday, and the compere brought her up onto the stage. And he said, I'm not going to ask you how old you are, because that's really quite rude to do. So how much do you weigh? I'm not going to ask you that question.
I'm not going to answer that one either.
You don't have to answer that one either. But I'm saying you're not 60. Let's go down that.
I'm not 60. I'm not quite 30.
Not quite 30. So, so what have you been doing then to kind of get you into the position where you're now running Chloe's Mobile Farm?
So we started, I realized how much I loved animals and how important it was to have contact with animals. And I think it was just when I was growing up, I knew that I wanted to work with animals and people. If anyone asked me what I wanted to be when I was older, I just said, I want to work with animals and I want to work with people. But I had no idea what sort of capacity was possible. I didn't know how that would look. And I went to university and studied psychology and wrote my dissertation on the benefits of assistance animals and animals that help people. And so then I sort of had the evidence of that. Um, and I started getting some experience and working in the area. And then January 2020, I decided that that's what I was going to do. And we started with a couple of animals and then a couple more. And then COVID hit. So
And
that,
a great time to start a business, January
well, in
2020.
hindsight, it wasn't the best time, but I didn't know at the time, obviously. So
No.
yeah, it was a challenge, but I think that's why we're sort of so strong and growing today.
Yeah. So you've been running it for 3 years, and just let us know the website, by the way, very quickly. Haven't done that bit yet.
So it's just chloesmobilefarm.co.uk. So you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Google. We've got lots of good reviews, and yeah, we can be found anywhere really.
So if anybody wants to book you, that's the way to do it, which is quite nice. So I heard you say you studied psychology at university. Now, I also study quite a lot of psychology. So do you kind of, whenever you're around anyone, do you study them at all? How do you feel about that?
I wouldn't say I did initially, but the more we do the mobile farm, and I feel like I'm more submerged in all of the different mental health, and yeah, we deal with a lot of special educational needs and dementia, and I think my psychology history does help with a lot of that. But no, probably when I first graduated, I would say I didn't even think about psychology. But yeah, I'm sort of coming back to it more so now.
Well, as a business owner, it can definitely help you because you're looking at people as you're out and about and doing your thing. And then you can see, actually, this now needs to happen because you're realizing what that state of mind that person is in.
Absolutely, yeah.
So maybe you kind of gained that experience that way. Now, I know a few farmers. I've known a number of farmers over the years. And the one thing they always say to me is, it's all right for you. You can have days off. My cows don't know it's Christmas Day. I still have to go and tend to them. What's it like with yourself? Obviously, how many animals do you have?
Oh, I haven't done a count up recently, but I would guess it's between 50 and 55.
50 and 55 animals.
Yes.
So they don't care what day of the week it is.
They don't, no. So it's quite funny. I had a week off last week, supposedly a week off, but I think I was busier last week than I am normally. But obviously, even if we've just got for example, a 2-hour mobile farm visit, we've got hours and hours either side of loading up the trailer, traveling there, setting up, and yet alone looking after all the animals before we left and then when we get home. So yeah, it's not uncommon for me to have 12 or 14-hour days just going out and doing the mobile farm stuff and doing the daily stuff, which then means all the other jobs have to fit in somewhere else.
And it's always good fun, isn't it? It's the difficult part is managing your work-life balance. And I say, so do you have anybody else that helps with the animals at all, or is it just you?
On a daily basis, no, it's just me.
Just you.
My assistant usually meets me at the farm on the morning before our visit, and they get there about half an hour before we leave. So they help with the sort of last bit of loading up. There might be a few jobs like letting the chickens out and things like that, but on the whole, it all falls to me.
And I'm guessing, do you still live on a farm or do you live with the animals? What's the scenario regarding that?
So we are desperately trying to save up for a farm of our own at the moment.
Right.
So we are, how do I say this? Using the generosity of family at the moment. I still live with my parents because I know if I go and buy a house, I'll never buy a farm. So the animals are keeping me at home for now, and I'm begging, borrowing, stealing, renting bits of land all over the place. So right now, most of my animals are in the same village that I live in, but I've got some sheep a few miles down the road. So it's not too bad at the moment, but sometimes they are scattered all over the place. And you're picking up on the morning of or the day before our visits.
And do you have like a massive trailer that you have to carry around with you then, and a big car that has a big engine, I'm guessing?
So up until this week, we were towing a livestock trailer with a transit custom van, a bright red one. And I got the van because I originally was a dog walker and then went into the mobile farm more. So we didn't take on in mind its towing capacity or capabilities rather. So she's done very well, Tilly Transit, up until now. But we have just got a Ford Ranger, which will make the job a lot easier.
Nothing worse than going up a hill and then just keep going down the gears until
Absolutely,
you're
yeah. Or
eventually
if you
not
have
really
to
moving.
stop halfway up, there's barely any chance of getting started again.
So regarding going back to the business very quickly, how did it feel to actually start running a business yourself? Did you have any experience of running businesses yourself beforehand at all?
So I started as a dog walker when I first finished university. I came back and started a dog walking business. But I would say the dog walking, I started walking my dogs, walking my neighbours' dogs, and then I built up a little bit and built up a bit more. And obviously, by the time I was then taking on people's dogs that I didn't know, I then finally got all my insurance and everything in place. So it was a very tiny step by step process with the dog walking. So I think I learned a lot there. I think you learn a lot when you see the work you've got to put in and the money that comes out of it. I think that was quite a big lesson for me. Um, and then, yeah, so the mobile farm, I already had some experience with running the mobile farm, but I had to take a loan from an auntie to buy my livestock trailer, which I thought I was going to pay off quite quickly. But again, COVID. And yeah, so I think I learned a lot on the way through. And then we've started small and we have built up more and more. And we're probably at the stage now where we could have two teams on the road, work sort of availability wise. And yeah.
Amazing. Well, when we come back after the break, we're going to talk a little bit more about the company and actually how kind of some of the events work as well for you. So we'll be back with Chloe after this.
Made locally in Bath. This is Radio Bath.
So we're back. It's Richard Beauvoisin here until midday today. And our story to tell today is Chloe Iles. She runs a mobile farm in North Wiltshire. Hello, Chloe. Welcome back.
Hello, thank you.
So just very quickly, can you tell us about whereabouts are you based?
So we are based not far from Lynham, what used to be RAF Lynham. And we cover an area about an hour and a half away. So we've been to Oxford. We have actually been to London for a couple of small events. We do all of Salisbury, Bristol. Yeah, a bit of a radius of about an hour and a half.
So quite a large area that you do cover then. So,
Yeah.
So yeah, and I know you mentioned it briefly earlier, but what type of places do you actually visit?
So yes, we do go absolutely anywhere. We do offer smaller animal indoor visits that can be done inside in winter. And then we do big full farm events for big public events, fetes, schools. Yeah.
Do you have a favourite type of event? I know it's like choosing
Oh,
a children,
events. I
isn't it?
thought you were going to say animal.
I'm
Everyone
not going
always
to
asks
ask.
that one.
You can't ask who's your favourite animal. No.
So no, favorite event, I would say the care homes. And we're doing quite a lot of work with schools with special educational needs at the moment. And I just find those really rewarding. And the care homes especially when you can take a donkey into someone's bedroom. That is just it's an honor. I love that side of my work.
Could I ask the question, have there been any accidents if you've taken a donkey into somebody's bedroom, as in the classic Blue Peter moment where the horse has empties itself out on set?
So we have poo bags that we put on the ponies and donkeys. And then the lambs and goats, they can sort of wear nappies. And so we try the ducks and chickens are the messiest and the hardest to protect from accidents.
So I'm just going back here. Did you say the sheep wear nappies?
Yes,
right?
There are a couple of videos on my social media of lambs walking around care homes in nappies. I think it adds an extra element of cuteness having a nappy on a lamb.
I have to say I've never thought of a nappy on a lamb before, but yeah, that must be quite. So I'm trying to get the picture here of a poo bag hanging out the back of a donkey now, which is going to sound really
It's like
strange.
a harness. It's a proper built, attaches onto the tail. So as they lift the tail, the bag opens,
Okay.
and it fills.
I was just imagining the classic poo bag and somebody's walking around behind them, holding onto the poo bag as they're trying to move around. But it's not quite that then.
Not quite like that. Slightly more professional than that.
Slightly more professional. Now, obviously, you are a business. People have to pay for you to come round and exhibit the animals. So, is there an approximate cost that it does?
Yeah, so I wish I could do them for free, especially things like the care homes, because I just get so much out of them and go home feeling so sort of warm and fuzzy inside. But our packages range from we did some just rabbit options for the Chinese New Year, which was sort of started around £50. And then it goes right up to the full farm, which we can do for a full day, which costs a few £100s.
No, it sounds amazing. It's not, for companies or whatever, that's not too much out of their budget. So yeah, charge more. Now, I was also doing some research, and it looks like you've just won an award. Can you tell us all about that then?
We have, I can't believe it. So we were nominated for the Muddy Stilettos Award for the best family attraction in Wiltshire. And we were competing against Bowood, Roves Farm, Longleat, and Cholderton Rare Breeds Farm. And thanks to the support of all of my followers, family, friends, everyone that shared it, we won, which is quite unbelievable, really.
Amazing. And how did that feel?
When I saw who we were up against, I sort of wrote it off, but thought it was amazing that we'd made it to the list. I thought just to be on that list was pretty incredible for such a small, fairly new business run by just sort of me and a couple of other people. And yeah, so to find out that we'd actually won, I was in Sainsbury's at the time, and I think people looked at me and wondered why that lady was shaking in the aisle.
It's that moment, isn't it? You're literally there just holding your phone and your hand
Yeah.
shaking and the nervousness.
Yes, I couldn't believe I couldn't breathe. Yeah.
So did you have that moment of it was an email that came through or something like that, and you're like, the results are ... and then you had to
Yes, it was
open
just
it.
an email to say, "Dear Chloe, we are pleased to inform you that you have won the best family attraction in Wiltshire." So yeah, that took a while to sink in. I just kept reading that line over and over again.
And I suppose that's a reward for all the hard work that you've done over the last few years.
Yeah, so I think it does. The main reason we got there is due to the help and support of everyone that voted. And I think it's lovely that people wanted to do that for us. So I think that says a lot about the business and what we offer and the animals, because people wanted to help me and support.
Yeah, absolutely. Now talking about help, I know a lot of so I know a number of autistic children or teenagers, and they have animal therapy effectively. They go around and they spend time with horses or whatever it may be. And you've mentioned about that you go to some special needs schools. Is there an opportunity, do you think, at some point maybe that children can come in and help doing like the mucking out and all the jobs that you're having to do on a daily basis? How do you feel about that type of thing?
I would absolutely love to do that. And we have helped a few friends with work experience going through college and things like that. Unfortunately, with insurance and being based where we are at the moment and the animals being spread all over the place, it's something that's actually really difficult for us to be able to offer. So I think I mentioned earlier that we are saving for a farm and hoping to find somewhere where all the animals can be based in one place and where we can then have people out to visit us, which will, one, keep visit costs down, although we'll still stay as a mobile farm. It will keep visit costs down for some people to come on a one-to-one type basis to come and see us, but also means we can just give loads of opportunity for giving people experience and working with animals. And yeah, that's the big dream one day.
I suppose you've then got two parts of the business, haven't you? The part where you are hosting people and the part where you go and, as you say, keep visiting people as well. So two very different sides.
Yes. Yeah, I think they'll complement each other. I think the mobile side of it is a huge selling point because it can be really difficult for care homes, for example, and schools to actually get people out to places. Transport can always be really difficult, and supervision, you need lots of volunteers. So for us to be able to go and take the whole farm to them and solve all of that issue is a big selling point of the business. So I think we'll always stay as a mobile farm, but I think there really is a gap in the market for the sort of one-to-one type stuff.
Yeah, I know when during COVID, so for those that aren't aware, that I'm a dance teacher normally, and my business shut during COVID, so I became a delivery driver. And I was delivering frozen meals to a lot of care homes. And I know quite a lot of the time I was the only person that they would see on a day. And that's it. And sometimes I'd be the only person they could even see in a week. So the excitement of having some animals coming around to the care homes at that stage would have just been extraordinary. So did you carry on running during COVID? How did that kind of work?
It was really difficult. Obviously, the care homes, they had to be very careful. And although they were the people that needed it most, they were the ones that were least accessible. So we did what we could. We sent a load of letters out. We did some Zoom calls to different care homes, giving them tours of the farm and showing them all the animals. But yeah, so we tried to do what we could. Unfortunately, as well as the not being allowed to go out to places, people also were having to be quite careful with their finances. So for us to be able to go and do a visit for them, it was quite expensive. And obviously we were struggling as well, so we couldn't always be charitable. So in the end, we did actually start renting a yard owned by my auntie to be able to have people out to visit us. So especially when we were able to do the rule of six type thing, we were able to have people out to us. But yeah, it was very, very difficult to access the care homes, and they were the last to reopen again. And some care homes that we were visiting before COVID, we've only just started going back into. So it's been a very long time.
Yeah, no, I think lots of people are still coming out of COVID business-wise. I know my business is still not to the same point it was pre-COVID at all. And obviously yours was in its fledgling days pre-COVID, so very difficult for yourself, but that's very good. Now we're going to have another little break for music. When we come back, we're going to talk about some events, stuff that's happened in the past, and hopefully some things that will happen in the future. So we'll be back right after this.
Radio Bath, made in Bath.
So we're back. It's Richard Beauvoisin here until midday today on A Story to Tell with Chloe Iles. So Chloe, welcome back.
Thank you.
So there's a classic thing on TV, never work with children or animals. We mentioned earlier about the classic Blue Peter moment where the horse kind of had a moment on the set. Have you had many times when it's not quite gone to plan?
I think I find myself saying that phrase on a daily basis. And if
Right.
I'm not saying it, someone that's attending the visit is saying it. There's multiple things every single day that I just think, why am I doing this? But ranging from animals escaping to children trying to climb in with animals and sit on ducks and everything really.
You never quite know what children are going to do you? I suppose you're visiting the children, and I'm guessing some of them are quite young. Yeah, how are they going to be responsible with the animals?
Absolutely, and some of them as well are special educational needs. So we do get a few sort of grabbers, and yeah, it does keep you on your toes. You have to be alert at all times and have eyes in the back of your head.
And I suppose it's not just the young, sometimes it might be the old too.
Absolutely. Sometimes they can be the worst.
I suppose if you've taken the donkey along, do they get donkey rides? I don't know if that's allowed, or I don't know what the scenario is.
No, we don't do any riding. So all of our animals are rescues. We don't buy or breed any animals. So we try to keep the visits as nice for them as we possibly can. And it's my opinion that the animals wouldn't necessarily enjoy being ridden. So we always set up our pens so that the animals can come and interact with people, and they usually do. But if they want to move away and don't want to be involved at that time, then they can choose to do that as well.
That sounds like a very sensible way of doing it. So you mentioned earlier that you had lots of people that follow you, and they really helped you get the award. How does it feel when you have people writing nice things about you then?
It's really lovely, obviously. It's no, it feels amazing that we started really, really small and really tiny. And originally we didn't have a website, we just had a Facebook page, and you just had sort of your auntie and the lady that lived down the road and people like that that would comment and like and share. And then we got all of our work through word of mouth, really. So we would do one visit, and then it might be a birthday party, and you would then go to that child's school. And then at that child's school, you'd find someone whose grandma was in a care home, and you would then visit their care home. And I think it's just amazing how much can be spread through just people wanting to support you and wanting to share things. So yeah, it's always really lovely to hear that we see when we're on visits as well, we see a lot of people that have seen us years ago or in different places, and it's just really lovely that there's a bit of a community behind us. And yeah, everyone's following me on social media, and they know more about my animals than I do sometimes.
Is it a strange thing for you? Because you're obviously now a public person, effectively. Everybody knows your name because it's A, written on your T-shirt, and B, it's the name of the business. So they'll walk up to you and they'll say, "Hi, Chloe," and you'll say, "Hi."
Yeah, that happens a lot. It helps that I'm a tall redhead as well, so there aren't that many people that look quite like me. So yeah, I get recognized quite a lot, unfortunately. And yeah, you have that moment of dread that falls over you where you think, oh my goodness, where do I know this person? Is it someone I actually know? Is it someone from a mobile farm visit? Yeah, it's quite terrifying sometimes.
It is very strange, isn't it? Because you're there and you're like, I should know them, but also
Yeah,
seeing people out of context. That's the other strange thing. So at dancing, for instance, and we know each other from dancing,
I do.
and I was there going, I'm pretty certain it's you, and then I was like, it is you that I'm interviewing next week, isn't it? Because I kind of like have different contexts of people. And you see them in the shop, and then you go, right, where do I know them from? Is it from dancing or is it from another thing that I'm doing? You must have something similar.
I do, and usually I'm sort of in wellies with my hair in a scruffy bun and probably mud or something all over my face. And then sometimes when I actually put normal clothes on, I think that surprises people.
So you haven't turned up in your wellies at dancing yet, then?
I haven't yet. No, there's still time.
There is still time. So events over the summer then, how's the events looking for you? Are you keeping busy or does it get quieter when the school's shut and all of that?
So summer is pretty much fully booked for us, especially over the weekends. We've got quite a lot of school visits before they break up for summer. It's quite a nice summer break-up treat, end of year thing. So we've got lots of those before the summer. Then weekends are crazy busy. We've got lots of events for the MOD. We've got family events. We go to Kids About in Swindon. They have us every year for their summer festival. So we're there for 7 days in a row this year. We did
Wow.
10 days last year, very full on. We are also going to be at Newbury Show this year, which is a very big event. It's probably our biggest ever event, and we're very excited about that. So yeah, it's there's a mix of everything. We've got birthday parties, but we do still have some weekday availability over the summer, and we do have a bit of school availability before we break up for the summer holidays.
So if anybody wanted to get in contact, if they weren't listening earlier, how do they get in contact with you?
So the best way to contact me is by email, because otherwise I'll answer the phone while I'm in the middle of poo picking or or something with the animals, and I can never take any details down. So my email address is info@chloesmobilefarm.co.uk. And if they send me an email, I'll get back to them as soon as I can.
Fantastic. And remind us of the website again.
www.chloesmobilefarm.co.uk.
Fabulous. Now, everybody that comes on to A Story to Tell, nobody gets away with the quick fire round. As always, you don't get notification of what the questions are, except the first one. I tell everyone that one.
So scary.
We're going to have another little break for music, and then we'll be back with your quick fire round.
This is Radio Bath.
So we're back now. It's Richard Beauvoisin here until midday today with Chloe Iles, and it's time for the quick fire round. How are you feeling about the quick fire round, Chloe?
I'm nervous.
You're nervous. You've been great so far. I've loved chatting to you. It's been really, really nice. So here we go. Quick fire round. There are 9 questions for you. Are you
Okay,
ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. So question number 1. Everybody knows this one. What is your favorite ice cream?
My favorite ice cream. I'm not a huge ice creamy person, to be honest, but
Okay.
I'd probably go for maybe like a mint choc chip or a chocolate of some sort.
And choc chips, and always a nice
Yeah.
one. Okay, having grown up on a farm, I've no idea the answer to this one, but let's find out. Are you tidy or messy?
I'm incredibly messy. I'm a very disorganized, messy person.
And you look so proud of that fact.
I just laughed because I know anyone that's listening would have answered it before I managed to get the words out of my mouth.
I don't mind being messy. I think there's a time and a place to be messy, and there's a time and a place where it needs to be tidy.
Yes, I normally then don't have time to make it tidy. That's that's my problem.
And the strange thing is that messy people still know where everything is
Oh
because
yeah,
it's your
always.
mess.
Yeah.
If anybody else comes into that scenario, they go, "How can you find anything?" You go, "What do you need me to find? I'll find it for you." So yeah.
Yeah.
I'm quite messy myself. Love or hate roller coasters?
I haven't done that many. I'm not the biggest fan. I'm not like a proper, yeah. I probably wouldn't choose to go to a theme park to spend my time.
Now, I'm off to a theme park very, very shortly, actually, later
Are
on
you?
this week. I am. I'm off to Thorpe Park. And I have a little tip for anybody that gets motion sickness when they go to all of the roller coasters, and that is simply take travel sickness pills. And that's what I do every single time. And I don't
It's
get sick on the
obvious,
ride.
really, I guess.
It's fairly obvious. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just take travel. If you take too many, though, you do become quite docile. If you like, they kind of space you out a little bit. But yeah, I much
I'll
prefer it.
bear that in mind.
So bear that in mind. It makes them really interesting in the end. Right. Important question, this one. Do you hang your toilet roll over the top or behind the back?
It should be over the top. We actually have to place ours on the cupboard next to the toilet, but yes, it should
Fair
be
enough.
over the top.
Yeah, a number of people have said, yeah, they just have it on the toilet behind or whatever. But yeah, it should be over the top. That is there is no correct answer, but that is the more correct answer, I believe. If you were eating chocolate, would you eat it from the fridge or from the cupboard?
I love chocolate so much that it can come from anywhere.
You're not
Don't
fussy.
mind. Not fussy at all.
Fair enough. Good answer. I think I know the answer to this one. Do you make your bed in the morning?
I actually do. Although I'm a
Oh,
messy person, I do make my bed in the morning.
so the follow-up question to that is always why?
Um, so I have to climb over my bed to get to where I do all my makeup and things like that. So as I climb over, I straighten it all out, and yeah.
I thought you were going to go down the psychology route then.
No,
It's that you've achieved something in the day if you've made your bed in the morning.
I achieve a lot in a day, so yeah.
You do seem like a very busy person, so yeah, I think it's the least of your problems. What is your favorite breakfast?
So I love a chia pudding for breakfast.
Go on, explain to everybody what chia pudding is then.
So it's chia seeds with I use almond or oat milk at the moment, and loads of peanut butter, cinnamon, and then either maybe like a sliced banana or some chocolate spread, just a little bit.
I'll be honest with you, of all the times I've asked that question, that is the most interesting answer that I've had.
Is it really?
A chia pudding. I've never had a chia pudding. And
It's good, you
yeah,
should try it.
I will
I
try.
actually used to have bran flakes every single morning, and then I took part in a like a nutritional study, and I found that bran flakes actually caused me to have a huge sugar spike. So I realized that it was not starting the day on the right foot. So that's why I've changed.
So if I see you at dancing, I'm going to write down everything that you have in your chia pudding and give it a go.
I'll send you the recipe.
Please do. That would be great. That would be great. If you had to, what is your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, good question. I love singing, so I would sing along to anything. I don't know. The Killer's Human is a really good song to just scream along to.
Yeah. What do you feel about, because we play a version of that by Jack Savaretti, I think it is, a kind of
Yeah, I love
acoustic
it.
version.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's a really nice track to play to. So, and I always do the follow-up question of, are you going to give us a burst now?
No, I'm not
That's
now.
okay. One person has done it so far. So, so, yeah, and it surprised me when they did, but they did it very well. But yeah, so I will try and play human for you, no problem at all. Favorite TV program or movie?
I don't get all that much time for watching TV or movies. I am very into the Marvel films, so if I do get any downtime, it's usually a Marvel film.
Fair enough. My big three children, who are all teenagers, they had a Marvel like day, or I think it's about 3 days, when all the Avengers ones, and there was, I think it's 21 of them, is it?
Marathon, yeah.
Yeah, they just did a massive marathon of from the start right to the very end. Um,
I'm not that dedicated, and yeah, sadly, the cows would have needed feeding in between. So
that is a valid point. And your last question, then, Chloe, and this is very apt for you, I think. If you came back in your next life as an animal, which one would you be and why?
Oh, I don't know. If I think of the animals on my farm, I feel like the cows are the most relaxed. Pippin, the cow, she just eats, she just cuddles, she just gets told how cute she is, and eats some more and has a nap. So I think I would choose to come back as Pippin the cow.
Now, earlier on, you refused to say which was your favorite animal, but I think you've just let everyone know which one it is.
No.
Good old Pippin.
Yeah,
So,
she's good, bless her.
I love the fact that not only are you going to come back as a cow, but a specific cow as well. Nobody's gone down that line
Well, I
just
feel like
yet.
the cows in general probably don't have the best life. So I feel like I know that Pippin's got a good life.
That sounds amazing. Chloe, can you remind us all of your website and how anybody wants to get in contact with you can?
Yeah, so if you just type in Chloe's Mobile Farm into Google, we will come up on all our different channels, but we do have Instagram and Facebook. Our website is www.chloesmobilefarm.co.uk, and our email address is the best way to contact us, and that is info@chloesmobilefarm.co.uk.
Chloe, thank you so much for coming on today. I hope you've enjoyed yourself.
It's been great. Thank you so much for having me.
And we'd love to have you back on in the future as we go. So thank you for being on A Story to Tell on Radio Bath.
Thank you.